feel comfortable with your group of people, nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and work and try to strengthen your base as much as possible. And, maybe we can come to an understanding and, we ain't got to be the best of friends, but maybe we can work together somehow, some way. I'm sure, I'm positive that there's some people within every name that I have up in that space, and I could have added more names as well. I'm sure there's got to be some people within the Freedmen, the Aboriginal, the Pan African, the Negro that has somebody within their own little group that is cool with somebody else in one of these other groups. Like, yo, we should be able to, come together as much as possible. I know that's not always the easiest thing because you have so many different philosophies and ideas, and you know, just people were raised different and to a certain degree as well too. But I think everybody pretty much has their heart in the right place. It's just for whatever reason, man, it's that constant bumping of heads, and it's just one of those things, man. I just like I said, I would like to see a little bit more unity and whatever. Maybe that's easier said than done. Maybe that's in the an idealistic world, not a realistic world that we live in. So I'm just hoping, man. You know, I see somebody reps reached over there on he saw the title of the actual YouTube, and he's like, oh, this title. I'm like, yeah, it's this title, bro. We didn't want to, we just had a space last night, a pretty productive space, and we talk about the sister Carly Russell, and we also talking about black women as well. The mass amount of black women that's been abducted and missing and everything else. So we try to cover different topics as well too. But sometimes you got to come back and go a little bit out of your element and come back, and we'll occasionally do a space like this. So I'm interested. I'm hoping that we'll have a lot of different people from a lot of different viewpoints coming up in here and just sharing their thoughts and their ideas, and maybe finding some kind of common solution that maybe we can all get to and say, hey, you know what? This is who I am. This is who I identify with. This is what I'm about, or whatever. But at the same time, if I can help a brother out or a sister out, if I can meet somebody halfway, I'm willing to do that. And you know, just hoping. What's up, MF Kush? I see her, MF Kush, up in the spot. But Irie, man, let me ask you because I know you I know you're definitely in the Negro spirit. I know you definitely you hold many spaces and stuff like that. So shout out to you. But let me just get it just from your perspective, man. Exactly, what's been going on lately in terms of a lot of these spaces we see popping up, and I thought it seemed like stuff kind of dies down for a second, and then it kind of like comes right back to the it comes right back up. So what I know you're definitely, like I say, I know you're definitely a big proponent of Negro and everything else, but you know, I was just saying, I see a comment. Rep said, "You trying to bring Freedmen, STT, I guess, Secure the Tribe, and FBA into the mix? Laugh out loud. You're trying to unify the Pan African as well." Hey, I guess they say this is you just trying to beat a dead horse over the head. But like I say, man, we're gonna try to do something tonight. We're gonna try to have a decent conversation. Shout out to my man Dusty Pookie. Nate, you definitely need to go back to that. So he says, there won't be no common ground news. Okay, we understand, but this is the thing right here. We're not saying that everybody in those camps have to come to a common ground. We're saying maybe you may have one individual in one camp, one individual in another camp, one in this camp here that may say, you know what, hey, I'm cool. I can work with this brother. I may not want to be affiliated with his whole camp or whatever, but I'm willing to go ahead and work with this one in particular individual here and see what we can do to move things and shake things in the community. Shout out to Dana. Shout out to Rerod. What's going on with y'all tonight? Definitely everybody tweet the space out. But like I said, Irie, man, I know you've been holding a lot of spaces and stuff like that, man. And I know, like I said, you're in the Negro sphere. But I also know this right here too, Irie. Like for all of those names that we put up there, you would have to say, and I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, that everybody and everybody's family is going to have somebody that can identify with each one of these things right here. You can, and I mean, you could be you can be a descendant of chattel slavery in this country, but you're going to have in that title that I have up there, somebody identifies with every last one of those groups right there. So I just want to get your perspective on, like, what's been going on with the spaces lately. Like I said, I thought things had kind of changed up a little bit. I don't know if he was in that Luke space where he was talking about the freedmen, and the freedmen were trying to, I don't know if he said freedmen, the FBA were trying to basically I guess divide the Democratic Party or whatever. So you're definitely still in the mix as well too. That's if you got time. I know you probably with the little ones as well too. So what's going on with you tonight, Irie?
Yeah, bro. It's like the main thing is this. Shout out to you for the space as well. And peace and blessings to everyone in the room. Um, I don't argue. I don't argue with Black Americans anymore, bro. That shit played out. You know what I mean? Like I don't even entertain the argument of arguing over if somebody got Freedmen, Negro, Black or American. Like that was for the OMB. The OMB came. Everybody into their submissions. Shout out to the ancestors giving us more time for the OMB to make our submissions. And everybody rest when they rest at. You feel me? Like, I'm not one to try to superimpose and say this is what you're going to be. I'm just shaking and making moves based off of what I've learned, what I've gained from it. And again, Negro was not something I came on this app trying to bang. But the first thing I started off with was Black American Negro. And I went back to that as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. And it's over for that type of conversation. I'm not saying nothing bad about your room, anything at all, brother. Told her not speaking just for me. So to be honest, that's why I came in here just to go ahead and chop it with you, because I seen Negro in it. So I felt like that was definitely a room I want to make sure I'm at, because you was there with me from the beginning when all this stuff actually progressed. So I'm never coming on any type of negative energy or anything like that at all. And my purpose is this. It's like my great grandma kind of put me on Negro. She was like, I'm still old, my 40 acres and a mule. And I just went down that journey. And that journey led me to Negro. I can't make an African try to tell themselves that they not, quote, Black American. Look how they kind of tally themselves on our shit. Like, they actually tethered themselves so deep that the Congressional Black Caucus don't have nobody reflecting us at all. So it's like, if I could just clean it up with anything, I know how my broom is the Negro broom. Because I notice a lot of Africans don't like that word. I notice a lot of people who even non-African, Caribbean don't like that word. And I found out the Caribbeans and the Jamaicans even got beef. So I'm like, oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is just this whole different type of nuance that's playing itself out to where everything's kind of becoming accountable to what it is. And I think that's the best route for our people. Like I said, I started with Negro from my great grandma saying she owned 40 acres and a mule, and I'm looking at the paperwork in a legislative manner and looking at it from a lawful manner. And it's written under Special Field Order 15. And in that document, it has Negro and all of those things like that. So that's kind of like where I land at. And I don't go too far out of conversations with that, because that's what I'm fighting for. That's what I'm in this fight, to get the 40 acres and the mule. And I build every reparation conversation up off that foundation. I don't set the house of reparations for my conversations on any other foundation. Black, white, Christian, Muslim, straight, gay, up, down, left, right. Everything's built on Special Field Order 15. And that's just how I kind of just grow from that. And any conversation that I speak to, it kind of revolves around that, and it goes in whatever direction it's supposed to go in. So that's kind of where I've been, and that's kind of what I'm doing. And I made a lot of headway. I shout out to Brother Black State Majority. Just had a room with him co-hosting the other day, and we was talking about circulars that was going around that was reaffirming the lawfulness of Special Field Order 15, and also reasserting a law that the Confederates are to never obtain this land under any circumstance, whether it be by Congress or by President decree. So this was like a safeguard that was already in there. That's why, if you notice, he used one of the circulars to try to circumvent the law of Special Field Order 15, when in actuality, he was one of the circulars earlier than that said that he did not have that authority to do so. So him acting in such a manner, acting in a contravention manner to the Constitution, where Special Field Order 15 was a protectorate of the Constitution, lawfully given to Abraham Lincoln, as it was with cases of the prize cases. So I literally went down that journey, brother, and that's kind of why I'm at. And shout out to the ancestors kind of for placing me there, to be honest, because it allows me to have a diverse and broad conversation, and not just one based off of if you freedmen or got Negro ancestors. You feel me? So I'll end on that, not to be too long-winded, and appreciate the opportunity to speak. And I'll be staying around just for the room.
Oh yeah,
as I usually, brother.
Appreciate that, and thank you, Irie. And shout out to you, Dana. Thank you on the donation on YouTube as well. Yeah, we went ahead and got monetized. We're not fully monetized, but we still monetize and stuff. So shout out to you. And Irie, like you said, we were in that space months ago. And and I know you were hard on the Negro banner right then. Like I said, I have no issue with either. Personally, like I told you before that night we was talking, I have no issue on whatever anybody calls. And I get what you're saying that, hey, like that you kind of let a lot of that stuff come and go and whatnot. So I can definitely respect you on that. She said your mic on Twitter sounds off. I don't know. Does the mic sound okay? Dana said my mic on Twitter sounds off, guys. Does it sound okay?
The audio seems like it's going into the matrix. Total. You might need to drop down and come back up. But will it drop the space though if you do that?
Yeah, if I drop down, then it's gonna drop the space as well too. So I mute your mic 1 second, Professor. Let me see how I sound again. And yeah, well, Rep said it sounds good over here to him. So I don't know. Let me get the cognitive real quick as well too. So I don't. Y'all know how the audio and the stuff comes in these spaces and it comes back and forth and whatnot. So cognitive, let me know how does the audio sound to you real quick? The mic.
Hey, Newstoter, if you close the app and then come back into the app, you got like a good 30 seconds to pull it back up.
You saying close the app completely?
Yeah, close the app completely. I know it sounds crazy, but close the app completely.
Yeah, it won't shut you out. It won't shut you out of the room. You have a minute to come back, but it'll reset your functions.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Okay, I close the app completely.
So it's pretty much just when you leave, just like if you got an Apple, slide it up, like it's exited the app, and then start it back up, pushing the button. So if you got a drawer, close it, go back, and then reopen it. And then your room, if you go to your main profile, will be purple. And then wait, and it'll say reconnect to room.
I know Dana saying she can't hear the speakers on. She says she can't. It's usually low on YouTube, but today it's low on Twitter. So she's saying, "Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me see exactly because I've never even closed the app before like that. So let me see exactly how to close the app and come back real quick, Professor. Go ahead and hold it down real quick. I'll be right back."
All right, family. So I'm glad to see everybody in here. Shout out to Dana. Dana was up in here. Let's see. I see Reba, Sister Reba up in here. Monty, Alicia, Jay, Roots. Is that Sean? Yeah, that's Sean. And let's see who else. I don't know who this is right here. Somebody named Aladdin. So I don't know who this is right here. Somebody new, I guess. But shout out to everybody in the space tonight.
Hey, Professor, am I still? Go ahead. And what I'm gonna try to do is all in one the phone, and I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So family, great topics tonight. We was just listening to a little farmer where he's coming from with the whole thing with Negro, and I can see exactly what he's talking about because I grew up into some of his spaces. The Negro language is in there in the Special Order 15. But then, we hear in the spaces that people say we should use the term freedmen. I think y'all have heard me say many times, I really don't care about the names as long as we get what we're supposed to get coming to our ancestors. And that's what this is all about for me, because I know I'm all about trying to get what's due. And we all know that President Andrew Johnson was behind the cheating of our families, of our ancestors. This is the person that reneged on Special Order 15. And he gave away what was due to our ancestors to the white people that had committed treason against this country. So I don't understand why this man thought that was morally right, but as we already know, the Caucasoids are just not morally right when it comes to anything when it's in reference to Black Americans. They believe in stealing and taking and they definitely don't believe in humanity. They could care less about humanity. So, family, one thing about this Special Order 15, we need to be able to put this or present this to the Supreme Court because this is something that's already was on the books, and we need to use this as a way to be able to get our reparations. I'd like to hear what everybody's take is on that, because I'm pretty sure this will be something that everybody will bring up in this discussion tonight. Total, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I would just mute your mic 1 second, Professor. I'm just trying to see. Am I still low?
For some reason, man, still sound like you're in the Matrix, man. I don't know what's going on with this space, man. This is crazy.
Okay, let me let me go ahead and see what's up. Go ahead and hold it down for me real quick. I'm trying to get DJ up in here as well too, but go ahead, Professor.
Okay. All right. So, LaForma, man, go ahead and because it's new people that have shown up in here, man. Go ahead and tell us, because you always hold some great spaces about the issue of the Negro term being in the Special Order 15. So explain to everybody, man. Go ahead. Is LaForma still there?
He may have stepped.
I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Because I know we have new people that have shown up. So, yeah, I was just going to have you to speak on the issue of the language of Negro in Special Order 15, because a lot of our people don't know.
Yes, sir, I will. Can you hear me good?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you good. Yeah, go ahead.
This is what happened. This is what I was saying. I think it was something going on in the room earlier. It was the same headphones. I kind of reset them, but they messing with the room clearly. Mario Northwood doesn't go through these type of issues with his room as well. And I told this to Elon Musk plenty of times. I feel like this is an actual like a shark attack that they have in their programming. And I feel like these programs target algorithms when we use certain hashtags or words. And I think these things all deal with reparations, so they attack these words specifically. But I talk to talk to the conversation about our land that was owed to us, especially for the 15. Pretty much, if you had your grandpa, your great grandpa ever said they owed their 40 acres in the mule, that paperwork is actually called Special Field Orders 15. Hey, don't do that over there by that though. That's called Special Field Orders 15. And then it's over there, and then it's called Special Field Orders 15. And the thing about it is that you're owed all of the land that President Abraham Lincoln had given from those rivers and designations. They literally have longitude, latitude, their places from South Carolina all the way down to Florida, North Florida. And all of this land was supposed to be coastal. So all of these casinos and beaches and all of this coastal front property, this literally is our ancestors' property. Another thing about that land as well, that a lot of people doesn't realize, that land is very arable. It's very able to grow food on it. So that's the issue for Turks. It's able to. It's like fertile. So when we go there, we can grow our own food. It don't have to be GMO. It don't have to be any of the BS. It's all the same type of food and crops that our ancestors used to grow back from corn, cotton, rice, the whole gambit. And also, again, like I was saying, with those coastal properties being ours, ports and places of business and revenue and trade would come and flow through our communities and flow through our areas. And it was also written in Special Field Orders 15 that we were supposed to govern the area. So therefore, all of the taxes and laws and regulation would have been those things that we would have went ahead and had. More than likely, members would have built that we would have had our government, like Black Majority State talks about. We would have had all of our. I'm gonna put the stuff in the jumbotron as far as the location of the land, but we would have had the police departments, the lawyers, all of these different things like that. It would have pretty much been Negro Town all over again. And it would have been done. It would have been done from the beginning, and not from just something that happened off of something. But the thing about it is that again, the enemy, who was a Knights of the Golden Circle member, Andrew Johnson, literally when it gave the land to the Confederate enemies, traitors of the Union, and this was supposed to never, ever, 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 ever happen. And it was written that this was to never happen. And to do such a thing is treason against the Constitution. And also, one thing I want to make it known too is as well is that a lot of times when they talk to you about reparations and restitution, they try to shame you and say, well, how can you get money for slavery? Maybe use and say, well, freedom is your freedom as a slave. So okay, there's an argument to be had there. Okay, like become a slave. then the best restitution I want is my freedom, right? If I'm in captivity, I just want to be free. And so that's understandable. All right, so what about when we were free? And that's where Special Field Order 15 takes its position in that destroying power. Because it was when we were free that this land was taken from us. And it was also mentioned in Special Field Order 15 that the Negro is free and must be dealt with as such. So it established a lawful footing for us to literally exist in the American structure. No other document prior to that had that power, not even the Emancipation Proclamation. Because that only consisted of only territories in the Confederate States. It didn't consist of all of the territories within the Union. And so what makes it very important is that these lands that is coexisting with our Bill of Rights literally is our foundation for everything that is supposed to be built when we left the plantation. And the fact that we did not have it literally means that the Confederates have went to war with us again by killing our general, Abraham Lincoln, and trying to assassinate the Secretary of War, Edward Stanton. And I'll go ahead and land on that.
Okay, real quick, can y'all hear me better? Any?
Shoot, totally still doing it, man.
Yeah, you still sound like a bit of a distance. You probably sound like I sounded to you, brother. But
okay. I may see by trying to close the app real quick and come right back up. Yeah,
But you sound good though, brother. Newstoter. Like it ain't like I can't hear you, just that everybody else gotta be muted.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. It just sounds like you're.
Yeah, I'm far away.
Far away, man. I don't know why it's doing that, man.
Just don't let the app get you flustered. This is a target. That's what they do. So conduct your show conduct your broadcast how you was gonna go ahead and have it, and just know that everybody else just gotta be quiet when you speak. That's all.
Let me go ahead. Let's go ahead and get Sean because I know Sean had his hand up. So I'm gonna see what's up. Go ahead, Sean. If you can hear me, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Make the street. I probably should have waited a little bit before I said anything. I'm still trying to get the gist of everything. But I just want to make a couple comments. Maybe I can circle back and speak on whatever other issue you guys talk about. I sat back for over a year seeing this Negro versus Freedmen. I'll say back and forth, and it always seemed pointless to me because I thought Freedmen was just a status, and Negroes are ethnicity. Like, why is there conflict? Why does it seem like there's oil and water when it's not that? This seems pointless to me that we have these back and forth. I think people's egos just get involved. The farmer brings out great history and information about that word Negro, and it deserves the attention. Give it to it, put some respect on it. Go ahead. And the other people, I think BGP, they speak about freedom the same. It's a status like a warfare. And I'm not saying the farmer or BGP have done this, but I've seen other people that don't really understand the nuance kind of conflate the two. Make it seem like it's a conflict. And I'm beginning to wonder, are they doing that on purpose? That's my thing. Like, are they really doing this on purpose? Where's the conflict at? It's almost like it's the sword and the shield. Why are you banging the sword against the shield? Should you be blocking a sword strike and striking back? You know what I mean? I'm conflating it, but it's like I don't see where the conflict is. I think like people are manufacturing shit at this point. And I'm not saying they are doing that. People that actually brought this information forward. I'm talking about like other groups. I've seen them. They'll create a room and just conflate everything. And I think they're doing it just for content to cause more conflict. That's all I want to say on that. But I will say this, as far as Pan-African, that's another thing that's kind of getting dragged out all over the place. I'm at this point like, okay, you're Pan-African, now what? Get the fuck out of here. Go do your Pan-African thing. I'm a Pan-African. Shit, fuck it. Okay, now what? And I think it's funny that people that are against Pan-Africanism take too much damn time trying to villainize Pan-Africanism. And people that are for Pan-Africanism take too much time trying to shove down everybody's throat. When it should be like, all right, you go over there to your room, do your thing, work in the best interest of black people, and I'll go over here and do my thing and work for the best interest of black people. At this point, it's getting very vexing because people just want to have conflict with each other instead of pushing the narrative and elevating this conversation. I'm looking for people to say, all right, if we want reparations, we understand on the events that played out the last couple of days that they're going to do everything in their power not to get to us. Everybody have a change of heart. They know we're over this. That's not the point. The point is, what are we going to do about it? So, black speak, right? And then, it really set in. I had a picture like, yo, man. So we're here in California, saying, okay, if they pass this legislation, we're gonna give reparations from the state of California, at least people from that state, right? And I'm like, shouldn't we take over a state and just fucking give ourselves reparations? Like, why are we asking at this point? We don't need to. It's so simple. It ain't easy, mind you, but it's so simple. All we have to do is aggregate our fucking numbers and vote in our best interest and get people to run for office that come from amongst our ranks, that we vetted, that we can pull back in just in case they get out of line, and do that. And then, once we have state control over key states, we'll have enough people to send to Congress to go to battle on our behalf for federal reparations. That seems like that's the best, most assured path, because now we're relying on anybody to give us shit. We're taking it. It's like, this is the way of the world. It's what you can take. That's how this world was built. That's how this country was founded. They took it. Nothing was given. You take it. And I'll end.
You made a great point there, Sean. I know my reception guys may still be kind of far away and kind of low or whatever, so I'm gonna just go ahead and I thought about just trying to go ahead and restart, like everybody said, close the app out and real quick and come back in. But I'm gonna go ahead and speak just for a second. But that's the thing that I'm talking about. What you just mentioned, Sean. We talk about the great majority state. So that's what I'm saying. That to me, you should be able to find people in each background that could have a common interest in something like that. Since everybody wants to empower their people and their specific group or whatever, that's something that's a goal to me, that you could work together and try to actually form something and actually do something positive with. To me, like, you could actually go ahead, hey, no matter whether you're Negro, you're Freedmen, you FBA, you Aboriginal, you Pan-African, you're all about the empowerment of your people. So that's something that you can actually find common ground with other folks and actually work with. So I feel you on that right there as well too, Sean. So DJ, I know you came up. I gave you the co-host spot, so I don't know if you can and guys, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened with the space when it first started. There was no issue with my actual sound, and then I don't know what happened. It just, I guess it just went ahead and just the sound with these Twitter spaces, because I definitely is updated, and I definitely did the all-in-one and everything. So I definitely I don't exactly know what's going on with the actual sound tonight, but you know how these Twitter spaces are. DJ, what's up? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you are in the matrix. What's up, everybody? But it's really your microphone, because I know you use them headphone microphones, right?
No, I ain't got no headphone on. No.
You just talking through the phone?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you might have to do a cognitive save. You did an all-in-one thing already. You went through the phases of it, like I tell you to do.
Yeah, I went.
Have to close Twitter out, and you just do that just by swiping the app, just closing it out, and simply or whatever. And hit the three little dots that's on the bottom of your Android and shit, and they'll pull up the screen or whatever and give you the option to close it out. But you got about 30 seconds to come back up here. Otherwise, the space will close out. So try that now.
So you can just swipe the bottom and then just come back into Twitter, and it'll be back on still.
Yeah, just come right back. You know what I mean?
All right, let me try that real quick, man.
Make it to the shot right there, you know what I mean?
Okay. How is the sound now?
Nah, they ain't got those up there no more, bro. Padmark gone, bro.
So
Padmark been gone, bro. It's been gone for like a while, bro.
The sound, y'all can hear me better now?
Yeah. You good,
bro. Okay. Yeah, man, this space here, like I said, I definitely felt we needed to go ahead and conversate on this space tonight right here, because like I say, I'm seeing a bunch of different things that just popping up left and right. And of course, I see Luther Campbell pop up here all the time, and it's always it's something always negative. In particular, 1 minute he's saying that he's questioning the Democratic Party. Next thing he's saying that, hey, why aren't we supporting the Democratic Party enough, and Republicans ain't gonna give us nothing, and this and that or whatever. So it's always like a flip flop with his spaces. Whenever his spaces come on, it's always this flip flop back and forth. So yeah, I really don't know what what's going on. Then I see like a bunch of the Pan African spaces. Like I'm cool with some Pan Africans. I'm gonna be straight up. I'm cool with Freedmen. I'm cool with some Aboriginals. I'm cool with some Pan Africans. I'm cool with some Negroes. I'm cool with pretty much some of everybody, and I have issues with some people in each one of those specific demographics or what have you. So to me, it's not all about the actual title or what somebody calls themselves or what they feel that they are. It's pretty much how people. I go by however people treat me. If you treat me decent and we straight, then I'm gonna do the same with you as well too. I just feel like now is not the time to really get sidetracked, man. Like I feel like there's so many different things, and that's why I was saying, is it possible for there's certain people that you guys are actually with that could actually work with other people outside of your organizations or your communities and everything else? Because there are a lot of people that classify themselves as freedmen and Aboriginal. We know that, and Pan African and Negro and everything else like that. So what's the because when we look at America, when we look at the melting pot, which is America, when you think about the Europeans that came over here, these people were warned for thousands of years, man, hundreds and thousands of years or whatever, came to this continent and was still warned all the way to the United States of America, was actually a damn nation, and still warred after that. But eventually came to the point, it was like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and find some common ground and work together or whatever, as much as we can. I'm saying that same thing. Shouldn't we be able to do that in 2023? Shouldn't we be able to find some common ground? If it's somebody that you're a freedman or a Negro, and it's somebody you can't stand on the other side, hey, leave that person alone. Don't deal with that person. But if somebody else that's around them that you're cool with, or you can work with, or you at least have a mutual respect for, La Farmer, he has a wealth of information. Majority Black State has a wealth of information. There's so many different people that Naheem has a wealth of information. There's so many different people and so many different fashions that have a wealth of information, man. That it just to me, it would be a shame to go ahead and not put all that information to use, to just go ahead and squander it when you know what I'm saying. There's so many different things that we need to get done as a people. Sean, go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, man, you speaking truth, brother. People that study history, study warfare, study nations, they will see that sometimes nations compete with each other, and then sometimes they align behind themselves. You can do that on an individual level. People can't just waste space and arguments. Also, you can do that at work. You can work with people who can't stand all day.
Absolutely.
You can't stand for the liberation of people. That's how you know who's serious and who's not.
Hell, we got people in our families we can't stand and we stay away from. That don't mean we don't deal with the entire family. It's just maybe one or two individuals, or how many of them. Like, well, look, I ain't going around so and so because we don't do each other. But that don't mean you just totally go ahead and just cut the entire family off. So, yeah, I mean, there's common ground. I believe that could be definitely be fought. And like Irie was saying, man, we had that space months ago, like last year, damn near a year now ago, Irie. And Irie was firm in his position about Black American Negro. No matter what I said, he was not going to change. It was that was how it was. But it was no disrespect. It was no ill will towards me or him or whatever. We agreed to disagree, but we did it as men, and there was no issue between us. I respected his opinion. I respected the way he felt about the situation, and likewise. And I wasn't trying to convince him. Like once I say, "Hey, Irie's gonna stick to his guns, I'm gonna stick to my guns," there was no ill will whatsoever, man. He didn't leave the space feeling a certain way. I didn't leave the space feeling a certain way. I still was attending his spaces. He still was coming to my spaces. So there was no there was no bad feelings to one another. As a man, he felt a certain way. As a man, I felt a certain way, and it was still respect there. DJ, go ahead. You got it.
Yo, my bad. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, everybody's saying the right thing. Sean, I say everybody's saying the right thing. We agree to agree. The issue is really the egotistic. The egotism. You know what I mean? Everybody got their own ego. It's the same thing in the belly analogy. I'll say, hey man, we about to drop a dime on this. You know what I'm saying, son? Instead of, hey man, if this your time, you go step to X and Nas and say, hey, look, you go push your work, but we want 10% off that block. You know what I'm saying? So if we can't even do that amongst each other, it's just pure hate amongst each other. I get hate all the time. Like you said, we can't stand our own families and our own friends.
My friends don't support me, white or black friends. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't hang with the niggas anymore, because I don't got time for that. I'm not out here trapping. I'm out here selling audio crap. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got time for that. Same thing with my family. I got a large family. Do they support me? No, they don't. They never came to none of my parties or bought CDs off me or help me out with the business by sharing the information here online. They don't care. And then obviously you got the detractor gang, you know what I'm saying? The AKA the disruptors, AKA the agents of chaos. They out here all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Causing ruckus, division, yada, yada. And then obviously, you know, if somebody, soon as you say something, a nigga don't like, oh, I ain't fucking with that nigga no more. Damn, what I said, instead of you just coming to tell me, hey, look, you know, this is what you said wrong. And like you said, let's move on from there. But go ahead, Original.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Peace, Black Power Reparation.
What's up,
I don't
bro?
think hey, not a whole lot. You know, I don't think, you know, like I said in another space, you know, Newstoter, I had mentioned before about my cousin who is a retired engineer. And what he told me, and so I went back, and we talked periodically. So I asked him again about, see, he said he had worked with there was some Africans and a Jamaican at the firm where he worked. And he talked about how the Africans didn't want anything to do when he worked with some of these people from like, you know, 8 to 10 years. So a lot of this stuff been going on about how other black demographics have delineated from us, but they come around, you know, with a big stuff. But now it has gotten so bad to whereby, I don't know if you saw this, there's a video of Mark Marial from the Urban League, which is not a black organization. It's a white organization. It was founded by white folks. And so now he's trying to talk about, you know, ADOS and that they're wrong and this, that, and whatever. Now I know if these people are supposed to be smart and they should understand that reparations, especially with this Supreme Court, the affirmative action case in the Supreme Court, you know, came down and they mentioned Freedmen and they said, you know, it can't be done under the auspices of race, in which that cut out not just black folks, but a whole bunch of folks and white women. And so, but now it's like they want to stand up, and they still want to come after. They want to come after us to make sure that we don't get anything. I mean, I'm like you. I don't have an issue working with anyone, but if your objective is to come in and undermine, then there's an issue. And that's the same thing. And that's the same thing that's going on with a number of these people. When you look at them that come from other places, we've always supported them. They would have their little Caribbean festivals and whatever, you know, and we go and support them. I think where the issue came in is that, you know, with a number of them is that when we start saying, no, we do have a culture. And now they got an issue because they can't say to us any longer that we don't have a culture. So I guess they became so accustomed to that. But unless, you know, and it's not as if we haven't assisted primarily all black people around the world, not all, but, you know, a large number of black people around the world. But yet the vitriol that we are receiving from them, it's just unacceptable. And don't get upset with me if I call myself FDA, if I call myself Freedmen or whatever. You say, oh, okay, so that's your, for lack of a better phrase, you say, okay, that's your tribe. But that doesn't mean, like you said, it doesn't mean that we can't work together with one another. These people have taken this on because the way I heard all of this started was that some people caught these black immigrants in these social media spaces talking pejoratively about us. And they got mad because y'all know how we got that gift of gab. We got pop back on you just like that. And worse than saying worse than your mama joke. And so now everybody's upset. But at the end of the day, it seemed, and now it was some, what's this? It's some lady, she was with she did something with the Kings, something Nicole, something Brown or something. Now here she comes, talking about, you know, the group, that those of us who want to delineate and saying that reparations has to be for everybody, they just want to kill it for us. From what I'm seeing, it doesn't matter as long as if they can't have it, if they can't get it for everybody, and they can't seem to understand, everybody wasn't enslaved in this country. That doesn't entitle you to anything. But now that we have these different organizations or groups, whatever you want to call them, now all of a sudden, all these other people have an issue. But we never had an issue when all these other groups identified themselves whatever way they chose to identify themselves. But they seem to have that issue with us, and that's what I take issue with. I'm not going to sit up here and support you and help move you forward, and you can't even acknowledge my existence. So I just wanted to share that and say, I'm all fine and well with people working with us, working with any group. I don't take issue with that. The only thing I take issue with is that when you begin to act as if you don't have to reciprocate what has been given to you. That's where the issue come in with me. I have no problem because I know some Pan-Africans. Some of them, they look twisted in the mind because they feel that we should only see ourselves as what's the brother name? Black Alpha Network said, this flat blackness, and that doesn't exist. And they're not willing to do anything to make sure that they can identify themselves how they want to, and so should we. And so that's where the issue comes in, because you got like people like Umar Johnson. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's supposed to be this smart, intellectual black person, but he's just showing his stupidity to the entire world now. And he's right, original. I'm sorry, say it again? Kevin Samuels is right. That's right, Kevin Samuels was right. You are exactly right. Kevin Samuels was right. Because you got a lot of these people, they don't want to hear, and that's the other issue. Just like with Kevin Samuels. When Kevin Samuels started out, it was about, black men cleaning up their act. Then some of these black feminists, I can be included. It's just so insane. It's like, you saw this video where Scalpelface, or Biblical Fox, I call her Scalpelface, where they attacked Ice Cube, and they said, well, black women are not included. He said, what? It says black people. And they feel like they got to have something special just for them. If black people get it, then you gonna get it. The gates of the asylum have flown open, and we got to figure out how to close that damn gate, because this has become so, just crazy. And so I just want people to know, if you're listening, if you are a Pan-African, if you are a black person from wherever in the world, we don't hate you. We've never hated you. That's some stuff that started with these agents. So if you can understand that, then we can work together. And I'll land on that.
All right. Thank you, Original. Let me go ahead and get to Sean. Anybody else up? And I wish we had some of our Freedmen family up in here, some of the Aboriginal family and some of the Pan-African family as well, too. I'm surprised Shepard hadn't came up in the space as well, too, because I'd like to get everybody to come up in here and just say they say or whatever. Go ahead, Sean. You got it.
All right. Thanks so much. Just real quick, I want to illustrate how all these hashtags up the top are really no conflict. They can seriously really do. I'm gonna give it a shot. Okay. My ethnicity is Negro. My political or legal status in this country has never been rescinded as Freedmen. My lineage, my bloodline is Aboriginal. My political philosophy is Pan-African. There's no conflict there. And people were just pretty goofy at this point to keep trying to make it a conflict. And it's getting tiring. Like I said, we need to elevate the conversation. Now we need to talk about, like, you guys, I know we got sports fans here. I always get when the kicker, right? He has to come out to the field and the game's tied up. If he misses, he fucking lose. But if he makes it, and he's like, 40, 50 yards back, he never seems nervous. He's narrow-minded, focuses on his goal, kicks that ball, and goes. All these other distractions, can't focus on the crowd, can't focus on opposition, kick that fucking ball to the H and win the game. That's where it's from. We didn't elevate this fucking conversation and back it up with action. Because at this point, it's like still water. It's starting to stink. There's no flow. There's no new flow. I don't see no new people coming in here. I don't see no new faces. It's always the same group of other people. So how do we elevate this damn conversation and get to getting active? The only way we can really do that is, hey man, who the fuck gonna run? Because I'm gonna get that legislation in. We're gonna need somebody to sign off on it. When it goes to committee, we're gonna need somebody to advocate for it and negotiate and do what needs to be done to make sure that shit passes. I know y'all not really, I'm not saying y'all, but I know people are not really relying on good faith of these crackers to give us reparations. I hope that's not what people thinking. You gotta be the ones to get it. I'm gonna keep pushing that forward, like Captain America said. That's, you know what I'm saying. In Avengers, power's been kept in your own. I'm gonna move my people in there when it's time to sign whatever committee that bill has to go through. Like, one more thing I'm mumbling, but people always talk about the language of the reparations. This is how you get around all of that. You get the language right ourselves. We have our person write the fucking bill. We have our person sign off on it and push it for Congress, wherever else you go. Why has not the conversation linked on those components instead of going back and forth comparing Africans? People would have no power, irrelevant. The little stupid organizations couldn't do nothing and we get a candidate in there to make the fucking bill. To create the bill with our language and to push it through. That's what we should be focused on. We should focus on political fucking power and all that other shit and just move the ball forward. We keep going back in the conversation. That means we're stagnant, not going nowhere to start the state. And I'll land.
All right, thank you, Sean. Democrat Coon, what's going on? I don't know if you ever spoke up in the space, but what's going on with you?
Hey, what's up, brother? I just wanted to, introduce myself. A lot of people probably follow the account Frat on there before. I deleted my old account, took a break from Twitter and shit. But yeah, brother, it's just seeing them still fight after all the months of not being on Twitter. It's like, it's just a waste of time at this point. It's like, you think people would be talking about new. And it's like, here we are, we're still having the same conversations. It's like, I'm about to have my own spaces,
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Unfortunately, it's still, and like I say, I've actually been doing the spaces a little over a year now. So it slows up periodically. It'll slow up here, it'll slow up there, but then, give it a week or two or a couple weeks, and then you'll go back, you'll start seeing the spaces and stuff talking about, Freedmen this, Negro that, Pan African this, Pan African that, Aboriginals. So you see them, you see the kind of stuff just popping up left and right as well too. So yeah, as Sean just said, there's so many different things that we need to focus on politically as well. I'm gonna go ahead, DJ, let you get in. I'm gonna say something after that. Go ahead, DJ.
Sorry about that. I was getting a phone call. So Sean said everything right. You know what I mean? So the one thing we got to start, asking ourselves, okay, we understand our problem. We getting our ass whooped in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Okay, how do we combat this shit? Do we use the Billy Shell? We sidestepping the nigga? What we doing this shit? We're going to have to start being stagnant and start coming up with some type of ways to start getting the word out. So, like, Newstoter, number one curator news on the web, Black News, all Negro, Freedmen, FBA, ADOS, whatever we calling ourselves. It's all the same shit. So while we breaking ourselves off in these factions, that's the same thing these jokers in Africa be doing. 54 countries, 5,400 different tribes and some shit like that. So you got 5,400 different factions that got to argue with each other. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody got no time for that. So that's the same way we're turning out. Antonio Moore didn't like the way Tariq Rashid was saying, hey, we need to go ask both sides of the parties, hey, what's up with our tangibles? Antonio Moore ain't like that. Him and Tariq got into a back and forth. See, we got to go back to how we got here. You feel what I'm saying? They got into their back and forth squabble, and that's when Tariq created FBA. On some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's be logical about this for a moment. You know what I mean? But you can't be mad at Tariq because look at the way Tone was talking to him. Like nigga, you crazy? I ain't your fucking son. You know what I'm saying? So instead of, hey, y'all going into the background, you let it spill out on the web. You know what I'm saying? On Twitter and all this other stuff. You know, that's their ego stuff. And that's how I feel Antonio Moore is. He kind of egotistical. And you know what I mean? And who got caught in the middle of that? They had nothing really even to do with the shit. Yvette Carnell, let's just be logical about this. I know some folks might have a different opinion on what I'm saying, but it is what it is. So now you got Yvette Carnell. She blocking everybody. She don't want to talk to nobody. Why should she? Look at the way to treat her. Let's be logical. Look at the way some of us in this room treated her. Let's be logical about that. So ADOS still got the most talking points. So let's talk about that. ADOS, or Yvette Carnell rather, been bombed Mark Morial. She been bombed this dude. You know what I'm saying? And nobody took heed to what she was saying, except for those that were doing the work. You know what I mean? So if you go back to on her YouTube and go back to them old Breaking Brown videos, she's been talked about Mark Morial all the way to Claude Anderson. Go re-listen to a lot of that shit, and you're gonna find the answers to a lot of the stuff or issues that we have now. So again, forget all that. That's just for context purposes. Let's get back to the solution. What's the solution to say it don't matter if you call yourself Aboriginal, Secure the Tribe, Pan-African, Negro, Freedmen, whatever, because we already know Pan-Africanism, that's an American thing. That's our shit. You know what I'm saying? We created that too, because you go to Africa, but when these Africans come over here, or these Caribbeans come over here, hey brother, oh, I'm no black original. We no black original, I'm Dominican, bro. You know what I'm saying? Damn, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's how we doing in the jump. So where our Negro family at? We don't even know where our kinfolk at, scattered across the country, across the world. Let's be logical. I don't know who black. AOC was right. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She was right when she said, when asked about, hey, do you advocate for reparations for black Americans or whatever? Who's black in America? Have anybody asked themselves that? You know what I'm saying? A lot of these folks been cosplaying themselves for years. You know what I'm saying? Let's be logical. You know what I mean? Even though we know they really don't have a history in this country. Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe, you know what I'm saying? I'm old enough to remember at the age of 43, there was only black and white people in this country, or Negroes, you know what I mean? AKA the Freedmen, that's us. We know our history, so while we ain't out in the street pushing our history, hey, look, this the new civil rights that's popping on Twitter right now. This the new grassroots that's popping on the web right now. We need to take this information and relay it down into the street. How do you do that? A lot of y'all, again, y'all work at places where they got printers and shit at. Well, I keep talking about this print stuff. I'll be outside handing out newsletters all day, every day. But I can't force somebody to take the information and then heed and scan the code. I'm just giving you something and breaking it down to you. That's up to you if you move forward from there. But even I have to come up with a better solution to force folks to actually come up here and really indulge in this information. But a lot of our folks just don't care, y'all. We don't care. And I don't mean we don't care because we cold-hearted or unempathetic. You know, we not like that. We got to get up and go to work tomorrow. I don't have time to sit here and listen to this shit. It's just that simple, yo. So y'all going to have to start finding a damn way to start talking to people offline. Again, what Gil Scott-Around told y'all, the revolution shall not be televised. If the war ain't happening up here, this is just BS. And again, the only tethers is the jokers that's against our reparations claim and hate Negroes. Other than that, you just a regular nigga. You know what I'm saying? But you feel what I'm saying? Oh, okay. State your business shit, you know what I mean? So once we figure out a better solution or a better way to start taking this information down, I don't care how it's done. Hey, fam, I don't know, we don't know each other, but look, you heard what's going on with reparations. I'll be using Irish talking points. Hey, fam, you know, Newsweek put in this article that each descendant of the slave worth $150 million. Nigga, what? Yeah, fam, look, it's right here. Oh, shit, yo, get the strap, son. We going down to DC, you know what I'm saying? That's how you got to start talking to folks, man. Hey, look, did you see this right here? Hey, yo, they tried to lock this grandmama up all because of she didn't pay her garbage can fine. What? Man, that's my grandmother. I'm killing it. You know how we talk. So we got to start getting our peoples on this information to say, hey, look, I don't care if you're from Ohio, Florida, Cali, Jersey, somewhere that you born and raised here, but you overseas doing your thing for whatever the reason. Shout out to Black America Homeland. Hey, this is the information that's going on with Black people right now. And when you talk to our people in the street, they understand they just don't got the pieces to the puzzle. The picture of the pieces of the puzzle put together. They got the pieces of the puzzle. They never saw the image before to know how to put it together, yo. So there you go, man.
We got everything that we need right now, man, to go ahead and start doing group economics. With the way the government is doing things, the way that the system is set up, the way you have inflation, immigration, and everything else happening in this country, the only way that you're going to be able to make it eventually as a people is to go ahead and possibly look at what Dr. Claude Anderson has been saying for over 30 some odd years, group economics. That's something we still have not put into place. And I'm with you, Sean, what you're saying that we need to go ahead and get our political situation straightened out. We definitely need to do that. We need to go ahead and get our economic situation straightened out as well, too. That's something that we're sorely lacking on. We have not gotten the economic situation straightened out. We're still, we see groups that have smaller numbers than us that have a stronger economic base than we do. And I know some of that has to do, too, with the actual government putting these people actually in place to go ahead and get them tangibles and everything else as well, too. But, you know, while we're sitting up here and we're fighting against the government and everything else, we need to go ahead and solidify ourselves. We have the numbers. We have a big enough population. You can see just how people are organizing on these Twitter spaces, on Twitter, on social media, the internet, and everything else. You no longer have to be in the exact same city and state as someone to actually do business with people as well, too. You know, we got to start looking at, you know, we're not growing our own food. We're not clothing ourselves. We're not taking care of ourselves when we get sick. We have no hospitals. We have, you know, what do we really have out here? You know, we're not manufacturing anything. We're just the biggest consumers on earth. Now, we don't have to be the biggest consumers on earth. We can go ahead and we can start actually, you know, start doing group economics with each other and start being a supplier and demand and everything else. And you know, being the middleman as well, too. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to go ahead and grow our own vegetables, why we shouldn't have our own grocery stores, why we shouldn't have our own laundry mats, why we shouldn't have our own dry cleaners, why we shouldn't have everything, the beauty salon, the barber shops, the malls, the strip malls, everything that we see going on in middle America, white America, we see Asia America, we see Latin America doing, we should be able to go ahead and do this as well, too. And I know we suffered having townships burnt down like no other group has, and I understand that, but we still got to go ahead and still prepare ourselves. And while we're sitting up here, like I said, you got, if we can't cross the aisle, if the Freedmen can't cross the aisle and work with the Aboriginal, then maybe the Freedmen can go ahead and start creating their own little group economics within their own little section. Same with the Aboriginal, same with the Pan-African, same with the Negro. Like, hey, if the Negro and the Pan-African not going to work together, then, you know, the Negro go ahead and do for themselves and their people or whatever, you know, create an economic base for their people. It might be 500 people, but still, nonetheless, these 500 people come together, they start investing, they get a restaurant, they get a laundromat, they get a corner store, they get anything. And they put it in the community where the community starts coming in there. They can go ahead and they can employ people. They can go ahead. We got so many food deserts and stuff in this country as well, too. Think about it. We have universities like FAMU University, agriculture and mechanical. Okay, we need to start. I know these HBCUs, and I know a lot of people saying that, hey, you know, the HBCUs aren't Black American no more, and this, but it's enough Black Americans in there that we can go ahead. Like DJ said, we're gonna have to go ahead and on the actual outside of social media and actually start networking with folks as well, too. And he's right. You got a job, you got kids, you got a family. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do or whatever. We also got to start looking at the next generation. The next generation of Black people to really, really move the needle in this country, more than likely going to be is going to be the Gen Xers. So we got to go ahead and start working with them as well, too. We got to go ahead and start setting up apprenticeships and everything else for the next generation, them and even the millennials that's around their age as well, too. For a lot of the people that's baby boomers, of course, it's over for the baby boomers. It's over for a lot of Gen Zers as well, too. Let's be honest. We got to go ahead and start looking at the tail end of the millennials and the actual somebody got to mute their mic. Sean, I think your mic is unmuted. We got to go ahead and start looking at the actual the next generation and trying to go ahead and mentor them like we weren't mentored ourselves. You know, we got to go ahead and start connecting. And like I said, we can talk in the spaces about the Freedmen, the Aboriginal, the Pan-African, the Negro. We can talk about FBA, ADOS, all of this, all that we want to talk about. But like I said, there has been framework. There have been people that have actually laid the foundation on how we can be successful as a people because we have no other choice. You know, we're getting wiped out here. Look at what it is to rent a house or apartment in this place. You know, the prices on things are not going to go down. Inflation, bread is never going to be a dollar a loaf again ever. You're not gonna get orange juice for $2 a gallon. I mean, those days are over with. Gas is I doubt gas ever goes under $3 again. So we just have to go ahead. Do you actually think that you're gonna be able to get a 2-bedroom apartment for $500 or $600? No, those are yesterday prices, and they're not coming back anytime soon. We see some black people that's getting together as groups and they're buying little townships, they're buying little towns, and they're doing things with it. That can be done. We got to start getting our own. First, we need to start getting our own credit unions and banks. Then we need to start going ahead and getting our. We go to Popeyes all the time and stuff. We got all these franchises that we make multi-billionaires. I mean, you telling me that black people don't know how to cook fried chicken? That we can't have our own Popeyes or churches around here, or Bojangles or whatever? And McDonald's, all of them making fist over dollars over us. We got to go ahead and start doing this stuff. We got to, all the things that we see people investing in commodities and everything. And I'm talking about even commodities. I'm not even talking about the minerals and everything. I'm talking about simple things, peanut, orange juice. Those are commodities. Those are things that we need to grow and own and stuff like that. We got to start our own investment firms and think tanks and everything else like that. And we have the access to the people online to do that, y'all. We actually can go ahead and do that. We can start doing it in some of these spaces and stuff. The only thing is when we start talking about investment in business, those spaces don't draw a lot of people out. A lot of people don't want to hear that. You know, if it's something juicy, if it's something salacious, if it's somebody going in on somebody, then our people, they love to show up. But if it's something that's going to be beneficial, something that may be educational, informative, you know, they're like, oh, yeah, you know, I'll catch that another time. But I really want to hear how so-and-so is talking about so-and-so and how this person's been outed and this person's been this and that or whatever. In the long run, that's not going to help. That's not going to help us as a people. That might give you a nice laugh for the time being or whatever, but that's not gonna house anybody or clothe anybody or insure anybody. People dying all the time. They have no insurance. They're not leaving any wealth to the next generation. People dying. And you got to scrape up money to go ahead and try to bury this person. The person that's dead, their kids don't have any kind of wealth left down, no kind of insurance policies, anything. If they do, they just have enough to bury themselves or whatever. That's not beneficial to the actual race, to be honest. So we got to go ahead and start looking deeper and further. And like I say, if I can reach across the aisle, I don't give a damn if it's a freedman, Aboriginal, Pan-African, Negro. If they want to holler and they talking about doing something constructive, something that's going to be a positive or whatever, first and foremost, of course, we know that we're going to go ahead and try to focus on our people here in this country as well, too. But we also got to start getting the mindset. We keep hearing everybody talk about globalization and global this and that or whatever. We can't continue to get left behind on the global scene as well, too. Before we can go global, you got to go ahead and conquer local. But once we get that up, we got to start looking globally the same way everybody else looks globally. Everybody wants to come to America and invest in America and make dollars and take it back to their people and stuff like that. We got to start looking at the bigger picture as well, y'all. And like I said, we are far behind. I know we were the last people to come out of slavery in the world. We were the last group of people to really come out of slavery, and it shows. It shows the kind of ground we have to make up. But it can be made up, and we've made up a tremendous amount of ground. When you look at from 1865 to in a short time frame, what Black America was able to build in terms of institutions and everything else, and their impact, you know, they've made a tremendous stride. But we got to continue to make strides. We're not building institutions like we once were, and we now have more money at our disposal than we've ever had. Though I know our wealth is not where it needs to be, and it has to increase greatly. We do have access to capital, guys. You know, it doesn't take 5 million of us to actually make something work. Say what you want to about the Nation of Islam, but they do have a model that's been working. You know, you can do it. We just got to go ahead and put it to work. I'm not sure if it was DJ or Sean. I guess Sean.
Just let me grab real quick. I
Go
got
ahead.
make a phone call 2 seconds. So again, bro, everything you hitting on is 100%. My bad, I kind of spammed the jumbotron, but get in there, it all makes sense for what we talking about. So that's gonna be hard, bro, because you got the belly analogy and the whole Antonio Moore egotistical shit. So this is why black state majority will always have any spaces titled only 10% gonna make it. And my conclusion is, out of that, from learning from the black state of America, only 10% of the 10% gonna do the work. So that's 400,000 individuals, which will probably be about the same. Like Sean said, we stagnant. We're starting to stink up here, this water, change the water, you know what I mean? It's the same 400,000 you see online talking about black issues every day. Newstoter, reparations perspective, Farmer, you know what I'm saying? Tariq, whoever, you know what I mean? Berko, whoever, you know what I'm saying? It's the same folks and shit, you know what I'm saying? That we see day in and day out, that we be retweeting the information, sharing the information. So that's cool too. We need the road warriors out here, aka the soldiers, to do that type of work. But we ain't being soldiers up here every day. A lot of us come up here and just listen to the rhetoric without even retweeting the space out. Like, come on, man. We trying to get our check, ain't we? Ain't we trying to get paid? You know what I'm saying? So until we understand, hey, look, I need to do everything in my power to make sure that I'm promoting this information, regardless of who it is, white or black. Because white folks, y'all gonna have to understand reparations is here. You can't stop it. So I don't know why this cracking that good. I forgot the politician's name, HR 4321, trying to stop the states from giving out reparations or no restitution for wrongs that are done harm. So if the states were to give out restitution, he's trying to put a bill out that if the states ever need a bailout federally, they can't get it because you give out reparations. But see, these white people are stupid. And there's no disrespect to the average person, white person that understand. But the majority of y'all people are dumb as hell. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to black economics. You know what I'm saying? We don't need your permission to have reparations. You don't work for the budget committee. You know what I'm saying? You're not a senator. You're not a congressman. You're not the president. You're not even doing legislative work. So your opinion don't matter, white person. Other thing is, too, I can't stand when these white folks are like, oh, yeah, you're taking it out my taxes. How do you know that? Don't you know America got set aside for lawsuits and shit like that? Feel me? Excuse me, I had to sneeze. So America got set aside for stuff like that. Look at all these other people that got paid. Obviously, the last folks that got some real crazy reparations that's really nationally known was the Japanese. So a lot of folks saying, oh, a lot of them didn't get paid. Well, the ones that didn't make it, their descendants got that 20K. So, okay, where's our ancestors' inheritance at, Mr. Jim Crow Joe? You know what I'm saying? Whoever Janet Yellen, whoever the Secretary Treasurer is right now, go on, cut that motherfucking check. Because niggas is hurting out here, man. Keep it real, you know what I mean? So, again, what I always say is, hey, you may not know anything about this work or even want to do anything, but you might be great at talking to people. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, you understand the information, go out there and talk to somebody. You might not even be the person to talk to somebody. You might be more or less in the background of what I do. Stay quiet, keep your head down in your books. You know what I'm saying? And just help out wherever you can. You know what I mean? So come on over here with me. I could tell you what it is we should be doing. But a lot of us just don't want to do the work because of one thing, Newstoter. We ain't getting paid off of doing the work. That's why some folks think when we talk this reparation shit and say, hey, look, can you buy Aunt La's book? Because the state of New Jersey is fucking with our sister and they got her nephew locked up in Trenton State and the family can't go see him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, spend that $20 on that versus some weed or some drink for the weekend. You feel what I'm saying? That 20 ain't gonna hurt you to get the book. You know what I mean? Same thing when we talk Black State of America. Hey man, come up here every Saturday. You ain't gotta pay nothing. Even though Brother Black State got a book too. Hey, just be here every Saturday and take some of these Black State prints that we doing and just go ahead download them for free and just go print them on your own and share it to everybody in your contacts. If everybody did that at least once a day or once a month, man, we would have had our reparations 5 years ago, 10 years ago when we first started talking about this stuff. A lot of us just ain't gonna do the work. And then the last thing I'm gonna say, you already know how I feel about this technology stuff. I don't care if whatever it is you want to call yourself, your ass a Negro, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Google, they blocking you, yo, from talking about black stuff. You know what I'm saying? All day, every day. Even if you pay these people, do $1 a day advertisement on a video, reparations video, or whatever, how do you know people really seeing that shit? Other thing is, too, a lot of folks, I know professors be going on me. I got the white hand up now. So how do we know that Twitter ain't targeting us through the actual system of when I changed my hand from a white hand to a black hand. How do you know they ain't targeting our black hands? You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's a nigga right there. We making ourselves identifiable to them. We ain't even gotta say, hey, I'm this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? That's like self-snitching on yourself at this point. So as many times I don't have to reset this Twitter, I'm not changing it back to a black hand or white. I don't even care moving forward. Why? Because we on social. We got our own network. It is what it is. So ain't no need for you to be over here. And we ain't telling nobody, hey, go close your account out and just come on over to fund it socially. Nah, you can still stay over here because whatever we post over there, we're going to use these platforms as free promo to share our information back over here. But we're not giving them content straight loaded to the site, their site. You see what I'm saying? We're going to take our Negro content and post it to a black site. It ain't got to be social. It could be 6 zeros. It could be African Diaspora News. It could be Black Junction. It could be Black whatever it is y'all doing out there. You know what I mean? Just go over there, put the information out there, and if you want to share it back to those WPIs, you do it from the black site. That's how we got to move. Don't go to these people's restaurants no more. All day. I've been on TikTok all day. I don't even hang out over there. I just wanted to post a video over there. All I see is black people getting harassed at these restaurants, on a job. You're just walking around being normal. Joker. What was the brother? He worked for somewhere in the Justice Department. He was just outside jogging. You know what I'm saying? That's all he was doing. And they locked him up. You know what I'm saying? So stop going to these people's places of business. Don't order nothing from them. Ladies, I know y'all be mad about the weed thing. Stop going there. Certain folks, when y'all going to these Asian restaurants, stop going there. Stop going to these Hispanic places. Go to the supermarket and go buy a bunch of food and just cook that shit yourself. Whatever it is you need to make, a black chef already told you on YouTube how to cook it. You know what I'm saying? You want to make some Italian stuff. You want to make some Greek falafels. You want to do some Spanish rice and beans. Here's how you whip it. Why we act like we don't know how to cook when we're the ones that schooled everybody? Oxtails is American. The tomato is American. It's not Italian. You know what I'm saying? Corn is American. It ain't nowhere else in the world. Come on, man. Let's get with the program. So start doing what you got to do. Each and every day you wake up, moving forward. And even after this live, or even while this live is going, share this live out. Share the information with your peoples. Why y'all holding on to it? That's like holding on to money that you know you want to invest in, but you don't even know what to do with it. Which a lot of black people do actually have that problem. Y'all got money, but don't even know what to do with it, but you won't support your black business. That white ice cold, man.
All right. Real talk. Sean, go ahead. You got it.
With your permission, can I share something one more time?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen this, but it kind of highlights the silliness of going back and forth with the Aboriginals and Negro. It's pretty irrelevant. Look at this, man. I didn't even know this. I knew about this. It's basically a post. I don't know about how accurate I have to dive too deep into information, but it's very intriguing. So basically, it's saying that there's 21 different subgroups of Black Americans. There's an actual African American diaspora. I know about the Creole. I know about the Geechee, right? And have you ever seen a Creole or Philly Geechee going back and forth with each other, let alone real life or on Twitter about some inconsequential bullshit? That's why I'm like, is this shit a psyop? Why are we going back and forth with stuff that we're actually all are? We all are free, technically. We all are Negro, technically. You cannot be an African. That's the difference. We all are Aboriginal. We all have Aboriginal blood in this documentation. So why are we fighting over that when there's 21 actual ethnic groups that we have within our lineage, and you don't see Creole and Colored Geechee going back and forth? That's crazy. Pretty fascinating stuff. I kind of want to go back off of what DJ Newstoter was saying. DJ, a great suggestion. It never occurred to me to share my content from social. I'm gonna start doing that because Twitter they sit up here stagnate, broader our shit. We might as well go from the black to and share it out from that way. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'm actually about to start creating more content. I don't know if you know, I create animation. I have a character called Freedmen, and I also have a comic book character that deals with different subject matter named Easy. And I'm developing another character called Mac Frank. He's gonna deal with this red pill stuff from his angle. Make fun of it and all that good stuff. But anyway, what you said, DJ, about majority of us not giving a fuck or not getting involved. That's true. Growing up, I had to struggle with the idea that maybe there has to be an elite class, a certain level of elite. Not on the level of, oh, I'm better, like I got money, or I'm better, I'm light skinned or dark skinned, or I went to this school or that school. More on the level of, I'm focused, I'm willing to pay the price for power to do what needs to be done to get my people in the position they need to be in. I'm only fucking with people and doing business with people that are on that level. Everybody else is on the outside, and I would treat you as such until you get on the inside. I think Professor Black True said it best. You do not, I think he said, you do not think your way into right action. You have to act your way into right thinking. And what I take from that is that vanguard, that group that has to steer the course for our people, because obviously not enough of us going to be doing it, has to set up systems and institutions so we can train our minds again to think like we think, to think black first, black empowerment first, buy black first, marry black first, and all that. Because it's been pretty much bred out of the vast majority of our people who actually look at it, deal with the hard facts. A lot of us just go along, feel along, in the middle type of Negroes. They're not that hardcore elite that we need to be. And it probably will never be that, but we need to be that hardcore elite that needs to be the one in power. Everybody wants to talk about the 1% of Illuminati. Maybe we need a black Illuminati steering the course of our people for the betterment of our people. We see what's coming. We know we don't do it and act the way we're supposed to act, we're going to be facing oblivion. And I'll end with this. I was fascinated with this guy. I guess you guys all know about Genghis Khan. His backstory. He came from literally down near the dirt. His people were chaotic. They warred amongst each other. They took each other's wives for themselves, killed each other left and right. Now, how did that one individual rise up to a level of power to keep his people in check and actually take a showing role and conquer damn near the half the known world? How did that happen? I remember I was 17 years old sitting in the library reading a book called The Secret History, and I was fascinated by this character. I'm like, I know we told this guy is a tyrant. Yeah, okay, he's a tyrant to the rest of the world, but to his people, he was a hero. He brought his people to a level of prominence that they never known. So we're going to have that elite group that does what needs to be done. Like Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. Stay focused on the prize, don't be distracted, and pay the price of power. And I'm in.
All right. Go ahead, DJ. Appreciate that, Sean.
Oh, no, go ahead. I guess I had my hand up. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, if anybody wants to speak, Professor, I thought I had put you back up there as co-host, but I guess I don't know if you have a gap, not back down or whatever. Anybody wants to speak and come on up, you guys can feel free to come on up here and speak. We're not gonna keep this space.
Yeah, man, those were some great words by Professor and from the brother. I think that was before that. And when it comes down to it, we're not really beefing with anything but ourselves, right? I don't have the space and patience to keep beefing with each other. That's not productive. It's nothing that's going to come from that. And each of us have whatever respective field we have. Like I said, as it pertains to freedom status stuff, there's a man for that lane. There's a group of people for that lane. There's a woman in that lane. When it comes to Negro, there's a man in the lane. There's a woman in the lane. There's some Negroes in that lane. When it comes to Black American indigenous stuff, there's a man in the lane. There's a woman in the lane. Like, we just go to each other for whatever lane folks in. And that's the best thing we can do. Trying to compete against each other to undermine each other, that shit whack and play it out. I'm just not with that shit no more. That's why I'm over here cooking on my grill, eating some good food, being thankful, looking at my garden, just giving thanks that my ancestors have this good spirit in them that they put in me, and I'm able to manifest. And it's coming along very well. So I'm very happy. Here with my baby girls and cooking on the grill. Ain't nothing more better than that. Hey, don't stand up on that. You see the grill right there? You can fall on it, right? See, that's what life about. Teaching our little Negroes, little Freedmen, whatever you call your children, whatever your grandparents called you, that's what you are. I'll land on that.
Definitely, Irie. Definitely, I feel you on that as well too. Spending time with the kids and doing stuff with them, that is that's precious time that you can never get back. So definitely, big up to you. And I feel you on that. I was on the grill this weekend myself as well too. So Definitely. You got to go out there early though and beat that heat because it is a scorcher outside. But yeah, and I feel you, Irene. And my thing is like I'm saying, if it's anybody like I say, if that wants to go ahead, no matter what lane you in, if you want to go ahead and you want to work with somebody in the opposite lane, go ahead and reach out to that person or whatever. You don't have to reach out with, you don't have to, you don't have to work with the entire camp or whatever. But might be one or two people that you actually vibe with, that you have a decent relationship with, and if y'all can do something meaningful and worthwhile, then definitely go ahead and do it. That's my whole thing, and that's what the space was about as well too. Is like, hey, like I say, I'm willing to go ahead and work with anybody that's on there and anybody else that's not on this that I was able to fit in the title as well too. As long as it's something that's something that's going to be productive. I don't have an issue with it or whatever. Your personal belief or how you feel about whether when it comes to somebody's religion or politics, even I pretty much just let that person ride with however they feel or whatever. But if it's something that we can come to a common ground with and do something, I say, hey, let's go ahead and do it. So anybody else want to speak tonight as well too? Because we ain't gonna hold the space open too much longer. Tomorrow night we're gonna have an interview with Chaz Bunch. I don't know if you guys know Chaz. He's having a retrial. He was convicted at a young age, and he was sentenced to. He's been in prison for almost 30 years on a rape charge. And he has a retrial coming up as well too. So we're gonna go ahead and have him up in the house tomorrow night on the actual interview with his representative, and he's gonna actually be on the phone too. He's gonna be calling from prison as well too. So we'll have him on there for a little bit. So we're gonna have that part of that space, and we're gonna also have something else in the space as well too. I'm not exactly sure. So definitely come out and listen to that space. It should be a pretty powerful space as well too. So that brother, he has a new trial coming up, so we want to go ahead and talk to him about that and see exactly how everything goes this time around as well too. He's been in there since he was maybe about 16, 17 years of age, so long time. And he has a retrial coming up, so we will definitely, for those that don't know, I will be sending out those notifications tomorrow. So go ahead when you see it, like DJ say, go ahead and retweet it, especially if you're in the Newstoter DM. If you're in the Newstoter DM, there's no reason why you guys should not be retweeting out the actual spaces and stuff as well too. I don't even flood the DMs with content or whatever, because I figure like, hey, I put enough content out on Twitter, you guys can see that and retweet it or like it or comment or whatever. But in those actual DMs, if you're in a Newstoter DM, you definitely need to go ahead and retweet out the actual spaces and stuff like that. That helps push the content out there even more as well too. So like I said, anybody else wants to say something real quick? If not, we're gonna go ahead and close this space out for the night. A productive space, and like I say, hopefully all this stuff will kind of go to the wayside. People are tired of it. It's been going on for as long as I've been doing spaces and stuff on here as well too. So hopefully this stuff will go ahead and die down. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, that might be a while for that actually happen. NAC is gonna have to suffer some more before that niggas even thinking about fucking helping each other. You know what I'm saying? And we used to do that. You feel what I'm saying? Prior to the crack era coming in, we used to, hey neighbor, you got some sugar? No problem. Take the whole 5-pound bag of Dominoes. Just hit me back on the first. You know what I'm saying? I got another bag in here. We can't even break bread with each other like that no more because we don't got money anymore like that. We're broke. Everything is the inflation is just ruining America's savings accounts or whatever, black or white. You know what I'm saying? White folks suffering too. You know what I'm saying? They starting to feel the penny pinching. But hey, who been the most conservative group on the planet? Us. We already know how to move when times get hard. So what we all should start doing moving forward is kind of doing what Harry doing. You better start growing some food or something. Learn how to grow potatoes in a bucket, any potato, sweet potato, yucca potato, Yukon potato, whatever, golden yellow, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Yams too as well, because that's a potato. You know what I mean? You can grow potatoes in any type of bucket. You just need some dirt and a damn potato. You can even use a potato that was at the store already and regrow a potato tree. Real shit, you know what I mean? So start learning this shit. I know it, but I don't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I got to start practicing what I preach. You know what I mean? So that's on me. But the way of my lifestyle is set up as far as me living, I ain't got time for it right now. But I can tell somebody else, hey, look, this is how it's done. At least, so hopefully, I don't leave this world with the information, man. And that's really what this shit falls down to. So go talk to your old head. Hey, man, what the hell was going on in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s and shit? That we missed the ball, dropped the ball. You know what I'm saying, or dealing with these white folks. And now you got all these other demographic of people, Asians, Spanish, Latin, whatever, African, they coming in and swooping up the crumbs that we left on the ground, but we supposed to swoop those up too. And you utilize those crumbs to keep building on our shit. But it's like, you know, as long as we got that belly analogy, I'm gonna drop a dime in this nigga instead of saying, hey, look, I know you new on the block around here. I've been running this shit for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, give me 10%, you can go run the block. You know what I'm saying? But we don't do that shit no more. We don't care about helping each other out because the game is to be sold, not told. Hello? You know what I'm saying? So we could reverse that analogy and say, hey, look, I'm gonna tell you the game for free because you're gonna go do the work and get paid. You feel what I'm saying? I done met plenty of musicians, DJs, hey, look, this is how it's done. And they went on to be superstars on some real shit. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't look at that they owe me anything. I told you what it was. I'm happy you did the work. So I can feel like a proud daddy, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But you don't owe me anything. You know what I'm saying? Just as well as some folks told me some things. Hey, look, this is how it's done, nephew. This is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? I went on to be successful. Do they look back and say, hey, well, you know, where's my cut at? Nah, they congratulate me. I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? I'm proud that you did what it is you said you was going to do. That's all this shit is about, yo. Start doing what you said you was going to do. You want to get your check? I'm trying to get my check. I don't know how that's going to look like, but I'm trying to get paid. You know what I'm saying? You try and get paid because you don't need to be working like Ari said for the rest of your life. You need to be on the barbecue, chilling with the kids and shit, or hanging out with your family, or working on your projects. Man, I was watching a video the other day about just black inventors, and I said, damn, yo, we created all this shit in a modern day era. It don't got nothing to show for it, yo. All our people's invented everything that we using laws to talk to each other now. You feel what I'm saying? And don't got nothing to show for it. So we're going to have to start anew. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We back at square one. You know what I'm saying? On a Monopoly board. We got $1,500 to work with. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to flip this shit into a pound. You feel what I'm saying? Let's try to flip this shit into a fucking car. The next thing you know, we got storefronts and all this other shit. But you're going to have to stop supporting these people. Once you realize that shit is the key, shout out to Sister Who's Boycott. I'm boycotting everybody as much as I possibly can. You feel what I'm saying? I've been stopped buying shit. I've been lowered my bills and all this other stuff. But that don't mean the bills is going to stop coming. They still coming. And sometimes they wind up going back up because I run a business. You know what I'm saying? So I got to spend money on a business when I ain't even making money on a business just to try to keep this shit afloat. You know what I'm saying? And that's any black business. So what I always tell y'all, go get your EIN number. Can't roll with the 10% of the 10% if you don't got your paperwork. Now, I'm not talking lineage, we're talking about this economic shit. Tax ID, business registration. It don't cost much. The same $300 you spent on some bullshit for the mic, you could have used that and start getting money off. Start getting discounts on services off of it. But go ahead, Ari, I ain't gonna rap too much.
Bro, you good, bro. You was doing your thing.
I got you. You know what
I mean? I'm out here eating. Good.
Ari, you wanted to go ahead and you go ahead and add some. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. You got it.
Thank you for the space, man. It was real good. It was a blessing. You know, I don't have any beef with anybody. You feel me? I think that's how we're supposed to move, especially not no other Black American Negroes. You don't get no beef with anybody. It's time to start elevating and educating. Like you said, giving this game to the youngins, man. Good seeds. People pass me good seeds. I don't always buy them. Sometimes I get seeds handed over to me from somebody, and it's up to me to grow it in a way where the seeds go grow and mature to give me more. When somebody gives you a little bit of seeds, it's up to you to mature them and flip it. And it's very organic and natural to put the seeds in the earth and see what comes from it, man. You know, trying to keep the seed in your pouch, ain't gonna let it grow. Planting the seed where the sun don't shine, ain't gonna let it grow. Planting the seed in a place that it ain't designed to grow in, ain't gonna make it grow. You gotta put that thing in the dirt, see what it's worth. And I'm sorry, dirt is dead. So you gotta put it in the soil, in the soul. That's where seeds go. And that's how you're gonna get a return. Then put your hands in the mud. If you don't put your hands in that mud, you ain't gonna get nothing. And sometimes you don't get what you expected this year. But if you got one fruit, and you got another fruit off of that, be happy because you doubled up. Get one more, be happy and tripled up. And I'm always trying to appreciate what other people got and appreciate what you got. But sometimes you're looking at somebody else who's probably looking at you. So, peace, power, and Negro reparations. Man, like I said, I appreciate the space. I'm over here on the grill. It's a beautiful evening, and I'm glad it maintained itself that way. There wasn't no problem, wasn't no friction. I just seen the hashtag and came through to the space. I didn't get an invite or nothing. I just let me pull up because I already know I'm invited. So I'm gonna get on my big nigga shit and eat, but my big Negro shit. Sorry.
All right, real talk, Irie. Good to have you up in the space as always. Fall through. I know you're busy with the with the farm and the kids and everything else up there as well too. But when you get a chance, you can always swing through in the space. Like I said, tomorrow night, guys, we're gonna be having a serious space about Chaz Bunch. The brother was convicted at 16 years of age of rape. He's still been in prison. He has a new trial set to pop off, and there was no DNA evidence linking him to the actual crime as well too. So definitely come in and chime in with us tomorrow. We're gonna have him. We're gonna have his representative, Minister Ali, up in the space, and Chaz is actually gonna be on the phone as well too. We're anticipating that he's gonna also be on the actual phone, calling from actual prison as well too. So definitely come in and listen to that space. That'll be a part of the space. We're going to also have another part. We got to touch upon some news articles as well too. So we'll that'll be part of the space, and the other part will be our regular newsworthy type topics going on as well too. So let me just go ahead and say shout out to the co-hosts and the listeners. Shout out to the speakers. Thank you, Irie, Original, Sean. Thank you, everybody, for coming up in the space, speaking as well, too. We're not going to be on as long as we normally be on, but, like I said, I wanted to have this conversation as well, too. And like I say, man, no matter what the name of the group or the people, we still black. And I know that's a whole nother argument for that. I don't even want to get into that. Oh, well, we're not, but we're definitely descendants of chattel slavery. So go ahead, man. And if you can link up with somebody that's doing worthwhile out there in the community, go ahead by all means and do that. Let me go ahead and close this thing out for the night. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, make sure you come in for the interview, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow night.
Peace.
Peace.